An elderly man named Rahim used to reside in a distant village. He wasn't wealthy, but he was a dedicated farmer with a lovely and happy family. However, Rahim worked on other people's farms rather than owning one of his own. Despite this, Rahim ensured his wife and kids were always happy, even though they didn't have much. His wife Syra was lovely and a market trader. Syra sold fruits and vegetables every morning, making her goods by hand. To help the family, Rahim and Syra had 3 children. The family consisted of 2 boys, Kamran and Sami, and a lovely daughter named Aisha. The children were happy and devoted to one another. Despite their lack of wealth, their household was filled with love and happiness. Every evening, Rahim would return home exhausted after a long day's work, but his wife always greeted him with a hot meal, and the kids would rush to give him hugs. Rahim's life was simple. They would sit together, laugh and tell stories filled with joy and love, proving that the true test of prosperity is the happiness you share with those you love. Rahim had several friends in the village, but over time they became more affluent than him. These friends began to grow distant, feeling ashamed to associate with someone so impoverished. One day, there was a large gathering, and Rahim reminded himself that what mattered most was his family. He decided to attend the gathering in hopes of reconnecting with his old friends. At the gathering, his friends were laughing, eating, and drinking together. Initially, they encouraged Rahim to join them and seemed pleased to see him. Rahim sat down and shared dinner with his friends. However, after dinner, one of his friends stood up and said, "Rahim, since you're not as wealthy as us, you should pack the dishes." Rahim was astounded. "I'm older than all of you," Rahim said. "Even if I don't have much, it doesn't mean you can treat me this way. Everyone deserves respect." His companions, however, laughed and said, "If you don't pack the dishes, we'll inform the host that you haven't paid for your meal. That would be much worse and more humiliating for you." Rahim had no choice but to pack the dishes and leave the gathering. He walked home slowly, feeling depressed and ashamed, reflecting on the cruelty of his so-called friends. When he returned home, his wife Syra noticed his sadness. "What happened, Rahim?" she asked. Rahim sighed and said, "My friends treated me terribly. They made me feel small because I am not as wealthy as they are. But no matter what, I will always give my best for you and our children." Rahim continued his hard work every day. He knew his family depended on him regardless of how his friends treated him, and he was determined to keep them happy and well. Despite his sadness, his love for his family made him resilient. Rahim was well known in the community for his diligence, working on multiple farms. Yet, he never received the recognition he deserved. He would labor long hours under the sweltering sun, planting and harvesting crops. Often, the people he worked for would delay his payments, saying, "Come back tomorrow," even when Rahim returned multiple times. Despite being taken advantage of, Rahim never gave up. His wealthy friends often asked him to perform demeaning chores like cleaning their homes. One day, Rahim asked a friend for money to buy food for his family. The friend laughed and said, "Oki, aufayut. If you want money, you'll have to clean my house and wash my clothes." Although humiliated, Rahim agreed because his family needed food. He spent the entire day working and received only a small amount of money, less than he had earned. Yet, Rahim accepted it without complaint. Rahim's hard work never stopped, even when harvest season came. He ensured his family had enough food and shelter, though it was never easy. One day, Rahim decided to approach the wealthiest man in the community, Chief Salman, to seek work on his vast farm. Early one morning, Rahim and his 2 sons, Kamran and Sami, visited Chief Salman. "Chief Salman, Rahim said. "I would like to help with your farm's harvest. My 2 sons can assist as well." Salman examined Rahim and replied, "Rahim, I need all the help I can get. You may start tomorrow." The next morning, Rahim and his sons rose early and went to Chief Salman's land. They worked tirelessly all day, harvesting crops under the scorching sun and even through heavy rain. Kamran and Sami proved to be as hard-working as their father. Despite their sore hands and aching backs, they never complained, because they knew their labor would bring joy and food to their family. After several days of grueling work, they completed the harvest. Relieved, Rahim wiped the sweat from his brow and said to his sons, "We finished the job. Now let's go to Chief Salman for our payment." When they approached Salman, Rahim said, "Chief, we've completed the harvest. Could we please receive our payment?" Chief Salman nodded and handed Rahim some money, only 1/3 of what he owed him. "Come back tomorrow for the rest," Salman said. Though surprised, Rahim thanked him, accepted the money and returned home. That evening, Rahim gave Saira the money and asked her to prepare a delicious dinner. But Saira noticed Rahim's mood. "Why are you so quiet tonight?" she asked. Rahim sighed. "Chief Salman didn't pay me in full. He asked me to return tomorrow, but I'm worried because he has never done this before." Saira hugged him and reassured him. "You've worked so hard, Rahim. Everything will be fine. Let's enjoy dinner with the kids tonight." Rahim nodded and tried to set aside his worries. However, the next morning, he returned to Chief Salman's house with mixed feelings of hope and concern. When Rahim arrived, Salman greeted him warmly. "Welcome back, Rahim," Salman said. "Come, sit with me. Let's share some food and drink." Rahim hesitated but sat down. Salman's table was laden with delicious food. Despite the friendly gestures, Rahim couldn't shake off his unease. After the meal, Salman leaned back and said, "You deserve more than just this payment for your hard work. I'm offering you an opportunity to become wealthy without any more effort." Rahim was shocked. "What do you mean, Chief Salman? How can I become rich?" Salman smiled. "There's a way, Rahim, a way that requires only a small ritual. There will be no bloodshed, and you will gain wealth beyond your imagination." Rahim's heart raced. The idea of wealth without hard work was tempting, but it also seemed dangerous. "What kind of ritual is this?" he asked hesitantly. Salman handed Rahim a large bundle of money. "Take this. It's 10 times what I owe you. Think of it as a gift. Take your time deciding." Rahim was stunned by the sight of so much money. He had never seen such wealth in his life. With trembling hands, he accepted the bundle and thanked Salman. As Rahim walked home, his mind was filled with conflicting thoughts. The money felt heavy in his hands, and the decision weighed heavily on his heart. When Rahim arrived home, Saira's eyes widened at the sight of the money. "Where did you get all this?" she asked in disbelief. Rahim explained everything. "Chief Salman offered me this money and spoke of a ritual that could make us rich. I don't know what to do. This money could change our lives." Saira frowned, her face filled with worry. "Rahim, this offer seems too good to be true. We've always lived with honesty and hard work. Easy riches often come with great trouble." Rahim nodded, realizing she was right. "I will think carefully. We mustn't risk our family's safety." That night, Rahim lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Though the money was safely stored, the thought of the ritual haunted him. He knew he had to make a decision soon. While the promise of wealth was alluring, the unknown risks left him hesitant. For days, Rahim struggled with his thoughts. Finally, one evening, he made up his mind to meet the mysterious man Salman mentioned. He informed Saira of his decision. She looked at him anxiously and said, "Please be careful. Remember, happiness is more important than wealth. Promise me you'll return safely." Rahim hugged her tightly. "I promise," he said. The next morning, Rahim ventured to the edge of the forest where the mysterious man Baba Karim lived. The area was dark, and the trees seemed to whisper secrets. Rahim's heart pounded as he approached the hut. When Baba Karim greeted him, his voice was calm but commanding. "Rahim, Chief Salman told me you would come. Are you ready for the ritual?" Rahim hesitated but nodded. Yes, I'm ready. Baba Karim led Rahim to a clearing in the forest. At the center was a stone circle with strange symbols carved into it. The air felt heavy as Baba Karim began chanting in a deep, rhythmic voice. Rahim stood in the circle, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. The mysterious man approached Rahim with a small bowl of black oil. Apply this oil to your body, Baba Karim instructed. It will bless you with wealth without any bloodshed. But remember, there is always a price to pay. Use your riches wisely. With trembling hands, Rahim took the oil and began rubbing it on his skin. As he did, the symbols in the circle shimmered, and he felt a strange warmth spreading through him. Baba Karim passed his hands over Rahim's head and said, "You have been chosen by the gods. They will grant you wealth, but heed this warning. There is always a cost." After the ritual, Baba Karim handed Rahim a small pouch filled with gold coins. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Go home and take care of your family." Rahim thanked Baba Karim and returned to his village. At home, he revealed the pouch of gold coins to his family. Their eyes widened in astonishment. His wife Saira picked up one of the coins and asked, "Rahim, are you sure this is real?" Rahim embraced his family and said, "The gods have blessed us. Our lives will change for the better." That night, the family celebrated joyfully, unaware of the true price of their newfound wealth. Over the following days, their modest home transformed into a haven of luxury. Elegant decorations adorned their house, and Rahim invested in land, cattle, and a new farm. The villagers marveled at Rahim's sudden fortune, with some assuming he had discovered hidden treasure. Rahim's old friends, who had once shunned him, now flocked to his side, eager to bask in his wealth. They brought gifts and showered him with praise, asking how he had become so rich. Rahim, however, remained guarded, repeating that the gods had rewarded him for his hard work. But the villagers' curiosity persisted, and whispers spread about the mysterious source of Rahim's fortune. Meanwhile, Saira began to notice changes in Rahim. Though he loved his family deeply, the burden of his secret weighed heavily on him. One day, Rahim received a message from Baba Karim. The old man summoned him back to the forest. A chill ran down Rahim's spine as he realized this could only mean one thing: the gods were demanding their price. When Rahim arrived at Baba Karim's hut, the old man greeted him solemnly. "It is time to fulfill your end of the bargain," Baba Karim said. "The gods require a sacrifice. Your daughter, Aisha." Rahim staggered back in disbelief. "No, Aisha is my only daughter. I cannot do this." Baba Karim's expression remained unchanged. "If you refuse, the gods will revoke their blessings. You will lose everything: your wealth, your sanity, and your family. You have 7 days to decide." Rahim returned home in turmoil. He couldn't share this burden with Saira, knowing it would break her heart. The thought of sacrificing Aisha tormented him, yet the fear of losing everything gnawed at his resolve. For days, Rahim wrestled with his conscience, unable to sleep or eat. On the 7th day, overcome with desperation, Rahim prepared to carry out the unthinkable. That evening he called Aisha to him. "My love, I need you to drink this potion and apply this oil. It's important," he said, his voice trembling. Aisha hesitated but trusted her father. "Okay, father," she said, drinking the potion and applying the oil. Moments later, she collapsed into a deep sleep. Carrying Aisha's limp body, Rahim walked to the forest, tears streaming down his face. He placed her gently in the stone circle, his heart breaking with every step. As he prepared to complete the ritual, his hands trembled and he whispered, "I'm so sorry, Aisha." Before he could proceed, a piercing scream shattered the silence. It was Saira. She had followed Rahim, suspecting something was wrong. Her cries alerted the villagers, who rushed to the forest with torches in hand. When they arrived, they found Rahim kneeling over Aisha, surrounded by candles. Saira ran to her daughter, tears streaming down her face. "What have you done, Rahim?" she sobbed, holding Aisha tightly. The villagers restrained Rahim and carried Aisha to the herbalist, desperate to reverse whatever had been done. Rahim was left behind, consumed by guilt and shame. That night, he was held in a makeshift enclosure, guarded by the villagers who looked at him with a mix of anger and sorrow. The next morning, Rahim was brought before the king, King Hamza, to face justice. With his head bowed low, Rahim confessed everything: the ritual, the wealth, and the demand for Aisha's life. The king listened intently, his expression darkening with every word. "You have committed a grave sin, Rahim," the king said. "But it is clear you were manipulated by Chief Salman and Baba Karim. You will spend the rest of your life in prison, where you can reflect on your actions. Your family may visit you, but you will never again walk free." Rahim wept as he was led away. Though devastated, he was relieved that Aisha had been saved. Over time, the villagers repaired their faith in Saira and her children, who lived humbly and honorably. Aisha recovered, and the family found solace in each other's love. In his prison cell, Rahim spent his days reflecting on his mistakes. He realized that true wealth lay not in riches, but in the love and integrity of his family. Though he paid a heavy price, Rahim hoped his story would serve as a warning to others about the dangers of greed and the true meaning of prosperity.